The presentation of today's racing program is a copyrighted broadcast of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, recreation, or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand for our national anthem. And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to beautiful Belmont Park. Cloudy skies on this Saturday, the temperature right around 80 degrees. The main track is fast, the turf courses are firm, and we're using all of both the widener and the inner as the portable rails are down. We have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $41,889. Here now today's changes. In the first race, scratch number 10, Make or Break. Scratch the 10. Note that number 9, Sky Kitten, is 2 pounds over. No changes in the second. In the third race, scratch number 5, Coach Villa. Scratch the 5. Note that number 6, King's Honor, is 2 pounds over. In the fourth race, couple of scratches. Scratch 1, Fierce Lady, and 6, Miss Lily B. Fourth race, scratch 1 and 6. In the fifth, note that number 7, Your Awesome Boss, is a gelding. And the following horses will carry 2 pounds over. Numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. In the sixth race, which begins the Empire 6, these horses will be 2 pounds over. Numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10. Today's seventh race, the first of 4 graded stakes on the card. The seventh is the Grade 3 70th running of the Vagrancy. Scratch number 2, Mother Mother. Scratch the 2. Numbers 4, 6, and 7 are 2 pounds over. And the seventh race starts the late pick 5. Race 8, the 77th running of the Grade 2 New York Stakes. Scratch number 6, Mississippi. Scratch the 6. Number 3, My Sister Nat, is 2 pounds over. Race 9, is the 42nd running of the Grade 2 True North. Scratch 4, Wait for It, and 7, Promises Fulfilled. Scratch numbers 4 and 7. And these horses are 2 pounds over. Numbers 1, 2, 3, and 6. Race 10. The 27th running of the Grade 1 Just a Game Stakes. Number 4, Newspaper of Record, 2 pounds over. And number 7, Zofel, is 2 pounds over. In the 11th and final race, scratch number 13, Hostile Witness, scratch the 13, and these horses will carry 2 pounds over. Numbers 2, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 12. We're fast and firm with a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of nearly $42,000. We'll be back at 12:45 to recap the changes. First race post here at Belmont Park is 1:15. Coming up next, it's the final Saturday in June. That edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. He is the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Serling, and welcome to a beautiful Saturday here at Belmont. There's a possibility of a quick storm going through, but every time I look at my phone, I love it when it said 100%. Then it went down to 80. If you say 100%, doesn't that mean it has to happen?
It's like an anchor man. 60% of the time it works all the time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Anyway, we've got 11 races to talk about, so we'll try to keep our idiotic idle chatter to a minimum, at least until we realize we've got more time.
Sorry,
and then
sorry
everything
everyone.
goes. Yeah, we apologize in advance. We're going to try to actually stick to the program here today. Race number 1. Horse to beat maybe in race number 1 is the number 2 Sun Summers, who's sort of a ludicrous 4-5 right now. And Anthony and I did have a lot of similar opinions today's card. We're sorry about that because I may have to behave myself if that's the case. And we'll show you Sun Summers. This is down at this is at Belmont, actually, finishing second behind Xanthique, who would be about 1-9 in here for trainer Tom Morley, who's a contender in a race tomorrow, a strong contender in a race tomorrow.
Yeah.
Could even be the favorite in that race tomorrow, and maybe should be the favorite. It doesn't matter to me. Jane Sibeli, and I forgot to send the trainer stats in. At Naira over the last 5 years, she's 1 for 21. With 3 hitting the board. Her horses simply rarely run as well in New York as they do out of town. Now, obviously, the rejoinder to that would be, well, she ran plenty well there. And I think that's a fair enough point. I'm not saying she can't win. I just don't want to pick her.
Right, you can look at it one of two ways. The first way you look at it is she's 1 for 21 with 3 hitting the board. The other way is this was one of the 3 that hit the board. So she ran.
I'm sure that makes sense to somebody.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Well,
that means she's running through a very bad stat, right? If 18 of them missed the board and she's 1 of 3 that do hit the board, look, she can absolutely win this race. Taking anybody in here under 5-2 or 3-1, I don't think is good money management, especially a horse like this.
I have a tough time seeing beyond the 2, 6, and 9 in this race.
Agreed.
So I'm not sure I would disagree. And the 6 Peaceful Feeling is a reasonable alternative. We've seen sort of hit and miss from these horses that ran well at Tampa. This horse ran the same races seemingly at Tampa and at Gulfstream.
It's funny. It's almost like they have a very similar pattern, right? The allowance races sprinkled in with the claimers and the starter allowance races. They both ran in the Honey Rider, the 2 and the 6, the 2 horses we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, again, 2, 6, and 9 made a lot of sense in here. Kind of moved the chains if you're playing pick 5s. And it's oddly enough, the horse that we both agree on is the biggest price by far. Listen, I was taking a little shot. I figured she'd be the biggest price of the 3. She ran against the State Breds last time out. She's got the race. She's got the race under her belt. I don't know. I mean, you look at her form. She's running against Sharing. She's running against Micheline. She really belongs in those races. She's looking for her first turf win. She's dropping in for the tag for the first time. I don't know. She's a big price.
The reason I like her in this race is David Donk has very good numbers for its worth. First time for a tag on the turf, he's 14 for 51. First time for a tag, he's 14 for 51, excuse me. On the turf, he's 7 for 33 with a 422 ROI. Though there is a big price in there, but even a positive ROI without that horse. And her last race, if you actually watch it carefully, she got into real trouble in that race and was stopped at a point where she was trying to make a move. Now, she wasn't going to win, but she was going to be closer than her 6.5 lengths. And I know it's a turf race, and beaten 4.5 lengths isn't particularly good, but those were much better horses. I hate her post. I like the rider switch, and she is a horse that drops and did have significant trouble in her last race. Race number 2. Race number 2, we're going 7 furlongs near, and we both taken Shamrock Kid. Take it away.
Yeah, going to get a little bit more ground in the return when he went 6. He's not a 6 furlong horse. I know he's 1 at 6, but he's not a 6 furlong horse.
Why isn't he a 6 furlong horse? Don't you think that Eric Cancel just got completely lost on this horse last time? I don't know if he was stopping off to get something to eat in the backstretch, but if you look at this horse's running lines and this horse's PPs, there's absolutely no reason that this horse should have been as far back as he was. And that was a race that was absolutely dominated. The speeds that were 1, 2, and 4 early finished for reasonably close. So, or they were up close. The horse that ran.
I was going to get to that part.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was.
No, you weren't.
I was going to discuss the rider change because this horse was probably further back last time than he should have been, or really needs to be. He's not one of these horses. I think people
or has ever been before.
Yeah, I just don't. You know what I mean? I didn't get it last time. I don't think the 6 furlongs helped this cause, and I do think the extra 1/8 of a mile is going to help, along with the rider change, along with the race to knock a little bit of the rust off. So I thought he made some sense in here. Going 7, you're going to ask horses like Foolish Ghost to get to 7.
But he is the clear lone speed, Foolish Ghost. I mean, you can't say he can't win here.
Thursday, He's a very, very logical
Yeah, but I think the
contender.
track was just fair yesterday. I know there was nothing
Right,
wrong.
but don't you think he'd need a little help?
No.
Especially going to 7? I think
No.
is he going 7? I think he's a
How
little
about his
suspect.
race going a mile 2 back? How about his race going a mile 3 back? What was so bad about
I
those
think
efforts?
the mile's a little different than the 7, Andy.
Yeah,
don't you?
7's even easier for him. 7 furlongs for speed horses is proven to be actually the best distance because the paces are usually very tepid the first quarter because guys aren't particularly aggressive, and you frequently get away with that slow first quarter, and then you've got a tactical advantage with a 5 furlong race. So I don't agree with you,
And what do
Anthony.
you think of what? I mean, horoscope.
I think you focus too much on distance, to be
What are
honest
you
with
going
me.
to do with horoscope in here? Is he going to come out of here just
I don't
trying
know.
to gun
Why
for
was
the,
he
I have
nowhere
no
near the
clue.
lead last time out?
No clue. I have no clue. But
And Foolish Ghost is considerably faster than he is.
He is. He's
so
he
we'll
is.
see. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's a reasonable question. I don't know what happened to Foroscope last time. I think O'Shea and Yassi can win, but he kind of was just picking up the pieces last time, even though it was a race where the pace held together.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he made some sense as well. Again, with him, I know
Exact
you
same
told me-
picks. Wow.
Yeah, exact same picks.
Race number 3. Well, race number 3 is not the one. 7 furlongs is the big difference in race number 3. And we'll take a look at a 6 furlong race where Bourbon Currency finally got the win. And Yes, Yes, Yes ran remarkably well. But 7 may be tricky for Yes, Yes, Yes. Also could be tricky for Bourbon Currency.
Yeah, this was a nice effort by Bourbon Currency. He was arguably one of the better ones of his career, and certainly his best one in over a year. Here he is cutting down Yes and Yes, who looked like he was in the barn at the 8th pole. Like you said, the 7/8 is a very tricky distance, and common sense would say, well, he came and got him at 6, and Yes is going to have more trouble. And you know, this is a tougher bunch in here this afternoon.
I don't disagree. I think, Jose Ortiz gave Bourbon Currency the perfect ride last time. He really timed it well with a horse that does not particularly like to win. And I think Yes, ran well in there.
There was a Yes, right?
Yeah. Why? Is there a Yes, why, right?
Our pony for breakfast at Belmont is Yes. This is a Yes. There was a Yes, though.
You must miss breakfast at
I do.
Belmont.
I miss the kids and everybody coming out.
Yeah.
I do.
Next
That was probably my favorite gig.
Hopefully next year.
Yeah.
So you like Kumar, as do I. Talk about Kumar.
Cutting back off the tightener, going 10 last time. That was going to cut back to the 7 furlongs. And this is a distance that really should hit the source right between the eyes. He ran well on the turf, going a mile last year, going a mile on the 16th as well. I do think the 7/8 is going to be beneficial to him. He gets a key rider switch to a Rod Ortiz Jr. today. I think he gets a nice setup.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's not going to be much price in here, but he's just supposed to beat these horses.
He's just supposed to beat
I
these
totally
horses.
agree. He got a perfect prep last time. He's not a 10-furlong horse. I agree with everything. You and I see it the same.
What about
And
King's Honor? King's Honor was a little interesting to me.
that makes one of us. Why? Based on what?
He's a fresh gelding. He ships in from the Laurel base of Brittany Russell. This horse ran against Structor and I know you're going to tell me about Structor, but it's a 42 life. It's
But he
a
didn't,
star
he didn't
allowance.
do any running in any of those
No,
races.
he didn't. But he got the money in the maiden claiming race.
Maiden 50.
Then they ran him. Well, I mean, I think it's kind
At
of
4 to
obvious.
5,
This
he won by
horse-
a half length.
Right, but I think he belongs in here. He's a fresh gelding. He gets Louis Sias, and he's going to be a price.
Oh,
I think this horse is interesting
Okay,
today.
I don't, but okay.
I
We'll
think
see.
this horse is interesting
That's fine.
today.
That's fine. I'm not a fan, but he's a price. We'll see.
He's the wild card, I think, and I think he'll
Listen,
be
I'm
10
not
to
in
1.
love with anybody in this race. Bourbon Currency could pick up second here. 7 furlongs be fine for him. I don't get Albie at all.
Me either.
I don't. It
I
doesn't make
got
any
sucked
sense
into
to me.
Albie a little bit last time, and he didn't. For a horse that could beat a length and a half, that never looked like he was going to win.
Yeah, I mean, he's not terrible. I just didn't think he was that good. I thought, like you, that Kumar's he's supposed to be
Kumar
better
makes a
than
lot of
these
sense.
horses.
Kumar almost makes too much sense in this race.
I agree. It's funny. I had the same conversation with Nick Tamro the other night because we were talking about the
Almost
races,
makes
and
too much sense.
I said to him, "Who do you like in the third?" He goes, "I don't know." He said, "Am I wrong? Isn't Kumar just supposed to be these horses?" I said, "Nick, I feel exactly the same way."
I can also see him being, because of that, I can see him being like 8 to 5.
Oh, he could be very short. I
Yeah.
agree.
And
He
then-
might
and
listen.
then you-
Logical
then I
horses.
think you're a little
well, logical horses
apprehensive
do
taking that
win.
price.
I'm not ready to take 8 to 5 on
No.
him, but I'm not ready to take anybody else in here at this
Exactly.
point. I
And
mean,
this
you
might
always
be
want to look
kind
at the
of thing-
board and see if somebody, and if you like King's Honor, which I don't, but that's fine. And that horse, for some reason, is 15, 20 to 1. You want to bet him, then bet him.
Yeah.
But I think Kumar is
Gotta
supposed.
watch the board in that
I don't
race.
think Kumar's supposed to be much over 2 to 1 in this race.
I don't either.
I really don't.
I don't either.
If at all. Race number 4 was hurt by scratches. 2 players, and they were both speeds. The 1, Fierce Lady, and the 6, Miss Lily B, come out of the race. And we both scratch in a timely tradition. We'll take a look at her winning, I think this is Oaklawn last time out. And Ray Handel, he's all over the place. Staked the other day. blah, blah, blah.
I'll tell you what.
Ray's done a great job with this horse, by the way. We like to tease Ray, but Ray's a very good trainer, and he's really done great with her.
Well, you know, he took him off a barn that's tough to take horses off of. She hadn't won, you know, in quite a while when he did claim her, 8 months, for a filly that has won a third of her starts in her career. He took her, he ran her right back against the state breds here, and then he shipped her down for that starter allowance. She drew inside, and she showed speed that she hadn't shown in a long time. Joel just let her roll from the rip, and the
He
race
had
was,
to let her go
race was
because
over at the
it-
3/8
yeah.
pole. I mean, she put that field away, and she just drew off on them. Yeah, she's just in form right now.
She's super logical
Yeah,
in this race, especially the Scratch a Fierce Lady with the trainer change. And listen,
Even Miss
Bertranda-
Lily B coming out, with both of those horses coming out, I mean...
Yeah, but it helps Bertranda.
It
And
helps
I know
Bertranda because it gets her in
Bertranda
the
looks
race
a little cheap
earlier.
on paper. She ran very well last time. I know it wasn't close to the 94 buyer. She got 2 back, but she was involved in that wicked duel. And let me take this call ran well also, but she lost a brutal bob in there. Bertranda's in great form, and I wouldn't completely discount her. And originally I thought horses like, you know, Bengal Gal, the 5, and the 8 Mary's Girl were more interesting, but with the scratches, they're just left with so much less pace in here. And I think it favors so much more the horses they had to beat that I just feel like the 3 and 7 are much more likely. I'm not saying the 5 or 8, you know, Bengal Gal or Mary's Girl. I prefer Mary's Girl a little bit. Can't pick up a piece and get second, but I don't know.
I also, you know, I worry because I like you. I mean, Bertranda ran every step of that 3/4 last time. She's coming back in 2 weeks. That might be a tough ask for her today. I think it might leave her, and she's going to be chasing Timely Tradition.
No, I don't think so. See, I think she'll be in front of time.
You think she'll be in front of her?
Yeah, I don't see why Joelle's going to get hooked. I mean, Joelle may go, but if she wants the lead, she'll be in front. She wants the lead, she'll be in front. Joelle's going to hook
I'll
up
put
and
it
do
like this.
Joelle's-
I can see your point. I would be very, very surprised.
You want to bet?
Yeah, I'll bet that.
Okay.
We're
at 44.
We're even finishing each
I-
other's sentences
I
now.
won yesterday.
Oh, my Lord.
I won yesterday.
He did win yesterday.
7 in
Won
front of
us all
3
way
at the quarter
yesterday.
without barring
Yeah.
something at the break.
Yeah.
Obviously. All right, that's race number 4. Well, we're really flying along here.
We snuck a lunch bet in, which is I'm very excited
Well,
about that.
hopefully we'll have lunch bets further going forward.
Yes.
Race number 5. What do you do with a horse like Farragut, who Farragut actually, we'll take a look at the last race. I actually bet a few bucks to win on Farragut. This was the craziest finish I've ever seen. The thing about it is, he's actually got Racer pretty good. I just feel like there are some interesting new players in here.
I felt exactly the same way. I put him 3rd. I think you have him 4th. He can absolutely win. You know, Pat Quick is a guy who doesn't get enough credit. Pat has a small stable. Almost everything seems to be coming back from the break and running for Pat. He's a really, really good horseman, excellent trainer. And these horses are all coming back running. This horse, that's a tough beat. That is a really, really tough beat.
Well, it's almost like he got beat in the nose, but he never really had the race won.
Right.
So I don't know how tough a beat it was.
But it
was a funny race.
Yeah, it was a funny race. And this horse can obviously win. But like you, I thought there was some more injury. Now, David has him 5-1 on the morning line, so it's not even like we're talking about a horse as the favorite. He's actually the 4th choice on the morning line. I think we both agree he's probably going to be a little lower, no?
Yeah. I don't know how he's possibly a longer price. And I know he has some similar prices, but how is Papa Luke a shorter price than him?
I don't see that.
How's that possible? I mean, maybe David's
I don't
right.
see it. Maybe he's
wait,
right.
did David make the line today? Yes, David's back making the line, right? He didn't make the line. Yeah, he didn't make the line the last. No, wait, did he make this line? I don't think he made this line. I don't think David made this line. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But the line is wrong. That horse is not going to be. The 2 interesting horses in here are the 5 Flying Finish, the 7 Your Awesome Boss. Is it Your Awesome Boss or Your Awesome Boss? What do you think?
No, it's my awesome boss. It would be You Are Awesome Boss.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
No, it's your.
Yeah. It would be you.
Oh, you're right.
You.
It's not you are.
I got you on this.
That was very good.
I should get a lunch for that.
This is a special. No.
I should absolutely get a lunch for that.
Let me ask you a question.
You're the grammar police.
Is there anybody out there that thinks you need a lunch?
That's terrible.
That was easy.
Wow, and you should get another one for the low fat joke.
No, that was incorrect. But you were right. That was very good, actually. Okay, I'm ashamed. I'm going home. As far as Your Awesome Boss, my problem with that race is Anthony was an off-the-turf race. That's my problem with that race.
Look, he got a 5/8 off the turf race at Gulfstream Park under his belt. It's almost, this sounds so stupid. it's almost like to come off the turf, you leave him in, and whether you can win or lose, at the very least, you're getting experience to come up here and run for 15,000 more. In this case, it's 13,000 more. So at the very least,
so they entered the horse in the turf, and it was just a gimme race when it came off to get ready to run against the New York breds. By the way, did you look up this horse's pedigree?
I did not.
Okay, it's all turf, in case you're interested.
Okay, and that's fine. And I think that he's come, like I said, I think they wanted to run the horse on the turf. I think the race came off, and they just decided to keep the horse in.
But he didn't do any real. I mean, he didn't run that badly around the field, I guess. I mean, the figure. But you want to really trust buyer figures in 5 furlong off the turf races?
No, I don't want to trust it at all. What I'm saying is, at the very least, he's
Look, I've
prepared.
got him in there. I'm not saying he can't win.
He's prepared to run. He's prepared. He's got a little experience under his belt. I appreciate a little experience, and I think if he does run a little bit today,
But isn't the one that's more likely of the two the 5? Because the 5 completely got left, broke 2.5 to 3 lengths behind the field. And I'm not Mr. Gallop out. This horse ran by them all less than an eighth of a mile after the finish. And I know it's Irad, and he'll probably get overbet because Irad's riding him, but I think he's supremely logical.
We both printed our PPs Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. I have had these since Wednesday, okay?
I can't vouch when you did. I know when I printed mine.
I printed mine on Wednesday.
They hadn't even put them up, and they were on. I printed them.
I don't have the morning line. I honestly believe in here that Flying Finish is going to be under 2-1 when all said and done.
No, not going to be under 2-1, but it's going to be the favorite.
I thought this was because of the Gallop out. It was an intended maiden special weight race. It's Irad Ortiz Jr. It's the horse dropping into the state breds. I thought this horse was going to. This horse was 7-2 down there, Andy. This horse was 7-2 in that maiden race. I think this horse is going to be bet off the board.
I don't think he's going to be bet off the board, but he'll probably be favored in the 5-2 range.
I thought he'd be the favorite, and I thought Farragut would be the second choice.
I have trouble. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I'm taking a shot with a 10, Orb in the Tower, the first-time starter for Charlie Baker. It's a huge pedigree, as a lot of people may know, Giant Moon.
Sure.
A lot of horses. 3 of the 5 foals from this dam were very strong. So I just thought this might be an interesting one, a son of Orb. Joel's riding for Charlie Baker. I just thought this might be a decent enough price because the reality is I don't think any of the horses we've talked about are that good.
I agree.
So I thought this horse might be a little interesting.
I want to close to those 4 in the pick 4 and the pick 5. And I'm going to be hoping for the best price. In all likelihood, it will be the first-time starter that you put on top.
Let me say something else. One of the reasons Flying Finish, and it was a short price last time, was that Irad was riding him. I'm telling you.
He's riding him again today.
I know, but really at Gulfstream it was madness, especially when it got into May. You know, because it was Irad and Luis Saez and sort of nobody else, with all due respect. So, let's not get carried away on that one. Race
I
number
still think
6.
he's going to be hammered. But.
No, I think he's going to. You think he's going to be. He can't be that short in here, but I don't think he's going to be over 5-2. I don't disagree. He's going to be favored. No, I agree. That's one of the reasons I didn't pick him. Because I agree with you on principle. I just don't think he'll be as short as you do.
These horses, on current paper, they kind of look the same. I don't want this horse at 8-5, and the other one's going to be 4-1.
This is a great moment for Anthony. He gets to pick Belmont. You must feel relieved. Like, this must just be like you haven't picked a Belmont horse like all week or something. Do you realize that the barn is cold because you've been picking all his horses? I think your percentage when you haven't picked Belmont horses is around 40. If you hadn't picked those Belmont horses at this meet, you would be having like the greatest handicapping meet in history.
I'm going to bring one of those tug-of-war chew toys. We're going to put that in the middle of
chew
us.
Toy.
A chew toy, yeah.
You want to offer a chew
Once
toy.
you get a hold of it.
I thought chew toys were only for like pets. Don't answer that. Anyhow, we'll take a look at Brabensky, who by the way, I totally agree with Anthony. I think he's absolutely the horse to beat near. Here's his last race. Why don't you talk about it, Anthony?
I mean, this is another one now. This was the day where they got one home earlier in the day, Johnny and Bill Mott, lost ticket, who you liked that afternoon. And here he is. He's making the lead. Look, I don't like when they cough it up either, but look where this winner comes from. Look where Uncle George comes from. This horse, I thought Propensity was another horse. I thought he ran every step of the way for the 3/4 of a mile. It's got to be a useful prep. Now, this is another thing. Mott doesn't usually bring these horses back that quickly. This horse is coming back in 3 weeks. We've seen it a lot from barns that...
What comes back on short rest?
He's been doing it a lot more lately.
This horse ran very well last time out.
Well.
This race came apart. There's every right to believe that was actually a pretty decent field last time. I think shorter's better. I'm a little sick of this horse. but he's the horse to beat.
He
Make no mistake.
This kind of has the. I would agree with that. Kind of has the last chance field because I'll tell you what, if he doesn't win now, he's got some issues because he's not going to win going 5.5 at Saratoga, and I think he's shown that he doesn't want to go a mile either. So he's kind of
Now,
he kind of's got to win here because of the 6 and 7.
How did you pick him over the? I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm done.
How did you pick him over the Chad Brown $1 million first time?
I flipped the coin.
You did.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to tell you that Anthony, who's taught me many, many things in my life, taught me what a Johnny Pump was. I did not know that it was the name of a fire hydrant. Now, do you know what this horse is apparently named for? So my friend Steve Bienveniste told me this.
My assumption would be...
You don't assume, because you'll be wrong. It's a...
You told me I was wrong about Kowalski, and that was 100% right.
No, but he would know. I believe it's named for a Basquiat painting.
I would not have known that.
No, I know. That's why I was pretty confident.
When Peter Brandt goes to when Peter Brandt goes with the Kowalski for Killer Kowalski, you tell me I'm wrong. I'm thinking
right.
Johnny Pump's first base.
Did I not give you full credit on
air
for
that?
First, I saw there was a horse. That horse, what was it, Kowalski?
Kowalski.
And I laughed at Anthony who said it was for the wrestler. I said, "Oh, come on, it was named for
Went to the
Stanley
box
Kowalski."
and
And
I
saw Peter later that day, and I asked him, and he goes, "He's named for the wrestler." I was thinking,
the Johnny Pump in Brooklyn and Queens, when you're playing stickball, you're playing baseball in the street, the Johnny Pump's usually first or third base. So that's where Johnny Pump. Where I come from, that's what the Johnny Pump is.
Mick said, if you don't know what a Johnny Pump is, it means you didn't grow up in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
so there you go.
It's always good to learn new things. Here's what I don't know what this means, but this horse was entered.
I was going to remind you of this.
And there's a rule that we've instated here where if a trainer has 2 horses in a race for different owners, and the race is oversubscribed, they have to designate which owner they prefer. If the race is undersubscribed,
or
obviously anyone can run, or
yes.
It's not which horse you prefer, right? But it's
the people get
I'm not suggesting to anybody. It's it's all owners are traded recently, and this horse was on the AEs, and the other horse won. And it's also possible that he felt the other horse was really ready to run, and maybe this horse was a couple workouts behind, and Chad wanted to wait.
I also think the other race was a mile or a mile and a 16th.
It was a mile.
Okay.
It was a mile.
And
it was
this
the
is
last
7.
race that day on.
Right.
It was that.
The first Saturday?
It was the people who have with Gunther. It was Gunther. The people have without parole.
Right.
Horse just got up to beat. I think it was the first Saturday.
Yeah, first Saturday. It was the first Saturday. It was the 6th. So
yeah, it was in the rain. Yeah, because it rained. That was after newspaper record.
Now, so now it's 7/8. And I think that's important to note. I got to tell you.
We're going to have to roll. But
I'd rather this horse at a mile just because I feel like, and I know the stats don't necessarily tell the story.
One day I'll get him to stop with this stuff.
I don't love the Chad Firsters at the sprint in the sprints. I'd rather have them going a little bit longer.
I picked Countdown, hoping this horse just needed the race the first time. There's plenty of pedigree on this horse. And made a little bit of a move, had trouble picking up the ground. I'm going to hope this horse improved for Mike Matz off a layoff. Thought it was kind of interesting. I thought North Carolina a little bit dangerous for Shug. There's plenty of pedigree for this horse. The Dam was a Todd Pletcher horse. And the bottom Patriot Game is a half-brother, too. Wow.
Orb.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, that's yours, the half to Hawksbill.
The horse that... Really?
Yeah, Hawksbill and Free Drop Billy.
Ooh. Well, that's right. That's a funny twosome.
That's a funny, and they're back to back.
I don't like I'm a Pharaoh at all. I think Todd is getting desperate with this horse who's burned money in the dirt.
And
going to get bet because he thinks, oh, it's an American Pharaoh, but it's not really a pedigree.
He's half the more spirit, so you would think that.
Yeah,
the American Pharaoh. I guess.
Big and no turf horses at all.
No,
big scratch in race number 7 where Mother came out. Come Dancing. Here she is winning the Gallant Bloom. She's the horse to beat in here. I have mixed feelings about Come Dancing. Obviously, when she runs her good race, she's very, very good. But it felt like she ran her best races early last year, and maybe she'll run her best races early this year. Still, I know she had no chance last time, and that was a sort of a surprising spot off a layoff. Still, I know she worked great the other day. I'm a little leery, and I really like Royal Charlotte. I liked Royal Charlotte so much, I knew Anthony would pick her, and I still picked her. But Come Dancing's a horse to beat, but I'm not wholly convinced.
If Come Dancing shows up.
The good Come Dancing, she'll win. Yes, that's correct.
It's not even close.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
But if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you know Ned Stark says everything before Bud is you know what. She's 6. I thought that was an unnecessary trip to Oaklawn, where, like you said,
They should
she
have
had no
consulted
chance.
with you.
But this is her game. She's sprinting, and if she shows up, she's going to win. With that said, she's going to be a prohibitive favorite. I mean, she's going to be a child. I'm not.
How short is she going to be versus Royal Charlotte?
With Mother?
Wait a second. The morning line has Shalone over Royal Charlotte?
Well, that's just.
Yeah, there's a good chance that'll happen.
Anyway, scary.
That's
With
not
Mother out, who I think would have taken a lot of money.
Some
I
money.
think more of the Mother money
I think
is
Mother
going to
would have
come.
been third choice, and Shalone would have been fourth choice.
I think the Mother money is going to come dancing, as opposed to Royal Charlotte.
I don't agree with that. I think the money just spreads the same way it gets bet, but we'll have to agree to disagree.
They're the two, right? I mean, do you want Shalone at this point? Because I really
we'll
don't.
get to her. Why don't we show Royal Charlotte finishing second and Pacific Gale finishing third? Obviously, Mother, who is tagged in here, is not running. This was one of the few days where there was some bias, and you wanted to be more outside. Now, Royal Charlotte wasn't right down the rail, but she was a little close to it for much of the running, and I do think that prevented her from having her closing kick. It wasn't Javier's fault. It was very hard for him to get her off there. It just got into a tough position, breaking inside.
Circumstance.
Honey, I'm Good was able to control in the front end. Second off a layoff for Chad Brown in dirt races. I think Royal Charlotte's going to run a big race today.
I thought she ran so well.
She's not beating Come Dancing if she.
She ran really well last time. She ran really
I
well.
agree.
She was never too far from the pace. Like you said, she was down inside when you probably wanted to be more towards the middle of the track. Yeah, she just makes a lot of sense as the alternative.
Yeah, I mean, Shalone, the problem I have with Shalone is she's okay. Why would we think she would get better from her 5-year-old form going to 6, whereas Royal Charlotte has a chance to take a step forward? And I felt like Shalone just didn't have as much competitive spirit last year. Look at the prices she was, and she just never really ran that well to her odds.
That is the best way to put it. It kind of looked like she started to tail off last year. Right? And if she starts tailing off last year,
why would she
why do I want her against a filly in Royal Charlotte who's gotten better and now is going to, making her second start at 4, and another filly who, if she shows up, is going to beat her from pillar to post?
Right.
I don't know why I want her.
In Gallop Racer, they never go down and then go back up. So I know that's.
They never go down. It's
true, right?
Yeah. Gallop Racer, they never went down
It's
and
all
back
about
up.
Gallop Racer. I agree. We agree.
Utmost Mover used to have that he plateaued for like 3 years. Utmost Mover, he was a speed horse. You had to ride him the right way.
I mostly had homebreds. I had a very, very, very good stable of homebreds. Race number 8, we lost a major player. We lost some major players in our stake races today. I thought Mississippi was almost a kick in the pants in here. I just thought she was better than these horses. Graham Motion's going to run Mean Mary instead, and I guess she could win. We'll take a look at her winning the Orchid last time at Gulfstream. I don't want to rely on the Gulfstream turf form in general, where she got really good. And honestly, I think this is a tougher race.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, overall,
less so though without Mississippi.
Yeah, overall.
How did you not pick my? Go ahead. Sorry.
Say that again.
I can't believe it was my sister Nat. I got that one wrong.
I wanted to, but the filly we both picked, I thought she just ran two lights out last time. Yeah, I mean, Mean Mary. Here's the thing with Mean Mary today. Don't you gotta think Valiance is gonna be on her tail today? I mean, I think Valiance could be in front of her if she wants.
The horse who's actually faster than her is Call Me Love. Now, I don't know that she's going to go, but Call Me Love is faster.
Call Me Love could be in front of her, too. But
Valiance
again,
could be in front of her. Keep in mind those Monmouth courses are very firm, but you're not wrong. She could be in front of her. Yeah,
the Monmouth course and the Gulfstream course has got to be really similar, don't they?
That's a fair point. You make
no,
it.
Come on,
It's a great
one.
No, it's a fair point. I'm sorry. It's not.
You're very stingy today. Very stingy.
I'm stingy with great. But you're right. And Mean Mary's been able to control those races, and I just think they're different races going long around the 3 turns at Gulfstream Park compared to this one. I mean,
huge benefit with speed around the 3 turns.
Yeah, it's a big difference in 1.5 miles and 1 mile and 3/8, and even 1.25 miles. I prefer others, though obviously she can win. We'll look at Call Me Love. I mean, was she somewhat second by default last time? Yes, because Get Stormy didn't run at all, or got
I don't
Stormy.
think that's fair to this filly to say that, though.
She was slightly second by default in there, but I thought she ran fine. I mean, it was a pace that held together. I think she ran fine, and she's also a horse that is supposed to appreciate even more distance. And the only concern with her, and I prefer having her second, is will she run as well in her second U.S. start? Sometimes they don't.
Yeah, you have to worry about that. A very short sample from the last year and a half, and this is with all runners. Christophe Clement, second off, a kind of layoff like this, 0 for 26 across the board the last year and a half. That's a concern. That's obviously a concern. But, you know, when you look at the paper, when you look at these horses and see who they're running against, I mean, she got beat 2 lengths to Rushing Fall in her first start in 7 months, doing something she really doesn't want to do because at the 1.25 miles, and we talked about this the other day, it's not a marathon, obviously, but it's not a regular tweener. It's a tweener race. That's what they call it. She's 5 for 6 at this distance. This is what she wants to do.
Yeah, my opinion in the race
too much sense.
changed.
Again, another one that made a lot of sense.
I scratched into her. I really preferred Mississippi in here, and I don't love her as my top choice, but I'm also not a big fan of my sister Nat, who I ended up with my second choice, because I really don't think she was good.
Of course, he had to show this.
And she ran fine in this race. The winner came from last also, came up the rail.
Ugh.
Jose did get a little bit stalled at that point to make his run, but she got her chance to make a run. And she ran fine in here. The problem is, I don't know how good this field was. And also, I'm not sure getting a little more distance didn't help her because her form prior to that was really decidedly mediocre. So I'm not sure what to do with her. She's no Sister Charlie, I'll tell you that.
Well, she's Nat.
Isn't she Sister Charlie's sister?
Yeah, but she's Nat. Of course she's not Charlie.
You know, the other brother won Sotsas, won the first Group 1 at France, I believe, the Prix de Ganay, I think, the other day.
I liked her. You and I almost dunce capped you last time. Well, these almost, yeah, close. I don't know. She ran well off an 8-month break when she first came to America. If the pace, she's going to need a little bit of a collapse, I think. I do think she's going to need a little bit of a collapse, but I wouldn't be surprised if she took another step forward. I'm going to certainly use her in the late pick 4 and
I
the late pick 5.
prefer to Fool's Gold, who I think was very opportunistic for the barn last year, and she prefers even more distance.
Yeah, like I said, I think and again, I thought Mean Mary would be a little bit shorter. Well, I guess she will be now with Mississippi out.
Is she the favorite now?
I was going to try and get around Mean Mary and try and get the favorite home, or my sister Nat as the price alternative.
Wait a second. Call Me Love was the morning line favorite here? Well, she wasn't going to be favored.
It's kind of hard. I'll tell you the truth, though. And that one I would have had a tough time.
Mississippi. She ran second in the Flower Bowl last year.
I know.
She ran second in the Flower Bowl to Sister Charlie at a 1.25 miles on this racetrack.
The one had recency behind Rushing Fall. Listen, we've seen a lot worse earlier on the card.
I'll let it go.
Yeah,
I'll move on. Race number 9, the True North. Oh, by the way, we didn't do a sign up. We'll do it at the end. Let people know there's a cross-country pick 5. Ohio Derby, the Stephen Foster.
Ohio Derby, True North, Stephen Foster. Just a game, regret.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, we lost a big player in here when Promises Fulfilled came out.
This was this was the biggest depressing moment of my day when you gave me the car and told me that this horse was out because I was looking to bet against
is Ferenczi Fire really going to be favored in here? I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
What was your excuse for his last performance? He was absolutely pitiful.
I don't think he's a wet track horse, and that was the best wet track race he ever ran, numbers-wise. I just don't think he likes a wet track. I actually thought he ran really well last time.
You want this horse X? Jason's, he didn't run really well last time, Anthony.
I thought he ran better than anybody thought he was going to run last time.
Okay. He was 9-2, and he lost by 12 1/4 lengths. So he definitely didn't run better than anybody thought he was going to run. I think even you'll have to agree. You might want to take that one back.
Yeah, but I think everybody expected this horse.
No, everybody didn't expect. I expect him to run nowhere. So he ran exactly where I thought he'd run. Nowhere.
I think getting back to a fast track, if the rain stays away and it is indeed fast, I think he's going to be very, very tough to beat.
I don't like this horse at all. At all.
Okay.
This horse will be
I
nowhere in my
looking,
play.
I had the same.
I don't want any part of this horse in a different barn. I respect the Kelly Breen barn, and I would not want to have the job he has taking these horses over from Jason Service. And I know 1-1, but that horse was walking the dog on the turf.
On the front end, yeah.
And I don't want this horse. I don't trust this horse at all. I haven't trusted his form. I don't want any part of this horse. He wins, I lose.
Here's the issue, though. You look at him, and I understand the whole Jason Service factor, but he beats these on memory.
This was a guy who was winning races with horses because he was using illegal performance-enhancing drugs.
But listen, this horse has to have some substance to him. He won the Champagne. He's won multiple graded stakes races. He has to have some substance to him.
I don't know what to believe. Obviously, we don't know what horses did or didn't. But this was always a funny horse, right? This was a horse that would suddenly run a huge race and then not run back to it, right?
Yeah, but more often than not, when he didn't run back to it, it was in security barn days.
His race in the Run Happy was off the charts great. His race in a couple of years ago in that stake race was off the charts great.
The Dwyer,
and he doesn't run back to him. So this horse, to me, is a little bit suspect. I'm sorry, but these are all things that are out there. They're public information.
And I could be the biggest sucker on the planet taking this horse today, but if this horse shows up, he's a bigger cinch than Come Dancing.
I don't agree with that either. I like Diamond King. We'll take a look at Diamond King winning the Stymie. And we're going to have to get moving here, actually. Yeah, we have to move. I always thought this horse was better short than longer. I think running him longer because there were more lucrative purses proved to be a good move for them. But I think now he's running in the races he belongs in. And I know he didn't run well last time. He was in the teeth of that pace. But in this race, I think he gets a good spot with the 7 out. I think he should have good position in here. Probably Yorkton goes. Your horse, maybe he can be aggressive with Kendrick. I like Diamond King. I'm a fan, and I'm going to stick with him.
I don't like him today.
Okay.
I think he's on the chase.
We disagreed.
I think he's on the
really
chase.
Annoying.
I think he's on the chase of Yorkton inside, and I think this race sets up perfectly.
It's not the chaser. The pace is going to be very tepid here.
Okay.
You're imagining a pace that doesn't exist on paper,
I
Anthony.
think Firenze Fire. Well, let me tell you something. If Dylan doesn't put Yorkton on the lead and try to get some separation in here, because that horse can absolutely win.
Let's show Yorkton.
He can absolutely win.
I agree.
Global Campaign and Vacoma. What would either one of them be in this field? What price could you get on Global Campaign of Vacoma going 6.5 against the rest of this field?
I've got no problem with
this
Yorkton.
horse's last 2 races were lights out.
He's on my tickets. I don't
lights out.
No, they weren't lights out.
Come on, Andy. They're asking him to go 7 furlongs on a surface he hadn't really had a lot of
Global
experience on.
Campaign came out of the race last time and didn't run a step down at Churchill. So let's not get carried away. He's run well in his races. He didn't run lights out. Vacoma ran a giant race in his next start, but certainly was a lot better than the race that he ran in the Sir Shackleton. I think he can win, but lights out might be a little bit exuberant.
I thought this was ran really, really well.
I like Stan the Man in here. I almost picked him on top. I think Stan the Man can win this race. I like him cutting back to less distance. He's run well with shorter distance. He's run fast figures. I know he sort of fell apart in his last 2 races, but I'm not ready to completely give up on this horse. He's not going to obviously be 21. He wasn't going to be 21 if Promising Field was running. But he'll still be probably 8-1.
He makes sense, and I think Wicked Trick, who kind of ran against the track in the Stymie last time, I think he can rebound and get back on the.
What was going on with the track last time?
That was you don't think that was a speed favoring track that day?
No, I don't.
No, okay.
Yeah, I understand. I've got him 4th. I feel like he caught lightning in a bottle. I'm going to want to see another big
6
race
in a row?
from him. Yeah, but now he's got to come back and get back to it. I'm a little suspect, but I hear you. He's not impossible. Yeah. It's an interesting race. Listen, I don't like the 8 at all, so I don't really want to preclude anybody else from winning.
I don't like the 1 at all.
Patently disagree in this race. Yeah. Race number 10, the Grade 1 Just a Game. Let's take a look at Uni and Got Stormy in the Breeders' Cup. Quite simply, if Uni runs her best race, she's going to win, Anthony.
Yep. That's it. Another one coming back at 6, like Come Dancing. This filly has gotten better with age. A Breeders' Cup winner against the boys. Here she is. She's beating a filly in here as well. Got Stormy, who's back again. Loves the mile. 3 for 4 at Belmont. 7 for 8 at the mile. I mean, you can't say enough good things about her.
Got Stormy just doesn't feel like she has it anymore.
No.
Her last race was very disappointing. She had such a great year. But I have no argument against Uni. She's the horse to beat in here. Be interested to see how it's played. But newspaper record last time, she showed that she's back. And I think much too much has been made about the turf condition. First of all, the rain came right before the race. And judging by the final time, I know they listed as yielding. I don't think it was yielding. I think it was closer to good. I get it. I can understand that some people think that. But She ran a good turf course that was good to yielding down at the Edgewood, and she ran pretty much the same race she ran her other race. The other race, the mile and quarter race, where they foolishly tried to rate her, and she just went the wrong way. I'm not convinced that she needs a firmer, needs a softer turf. And her last race was very good. Listen, I picked a little with my heart here. I'm a big fan of hers, and I'm hoping she wins this race. This is a very, very interesting race because she doesn't have to win, but I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do.
Like I said on social media, asking me to choose between these two horses, I guess, would be like the equivalent of asking you to pick your favorite kid. Because I love both of these fillies. I love her and Uni.
How about your other kids? How do they feel about that? You left them out?
You think I need more than 2 kids?
You would be a great dad.
I would.
You would.
Anyway, and you know me, I love speed, and she's gone. I mean, those 2 races last year, she got beat.
Got to move forward, Anthony.
Yeah,
I hear you.
Cambia Park went on to win 2 grade ones.
I want to show the Mint Julep. Zafel actually ran well. She got a good trip in that she saved ground, but she was also very close to a pace that fell apart. I do want you to watch Beau Recall because she was completely buried in this race and had absolutely no chance to ever do any running in this race. And basically, as Richie likes to say, I don't even think she ran with an emergency brake on. I think she actually had the actual brakes on during this race. She's pretty good, and a one-turn mile suits her. I don't want to be overly dismissive of Beau Recall. She ran pretty well in this race last year, Anthony. And a one-turn mile at Belmont is absolutely perfect for her running style. I do not want to say that she can't win this race because I think she can.
I'll tell you what.
If newspaper doesn't hold it together and Uni isn't ready completely, don't completely dismiss this horse.
Yeah, I don't like this horse for $1, to be honest with you.
Okay. We don't have time to joke
you
about
want one for 1 against 5?
Yes, I'll take 1 against 5.
All day.
2 lunches.
Done.
Okay. Race number 10. Let's take 11. Let's take a look at my favorite trip of the meet so far. We'll look at winning factor last time out. I'll say one thing. Louis Cardenas, pretty amazing that he was able to stay on. He actually didn't stay on. He actually fell off. And he fell off and he got back on. And then she had more trouble after this. And this is after having trouble at the start in the race. You know, if he just stayed inside, he would have followed the horse that won the race and ended up winning the race. I bet her last time. She was a big price, or not a big price, bigger than she'll be today. I almost hate going back to horses like this, but I have to.
How about if you don't look at the PPs and you show somebody that replay? There's no way a filly with that kind of determination last time's 0 for 12 in her life. None.
Well, first of all, the Connections ran her in the dirt too many times.
Way
Something
too many
we
times.
pointed out back at Gulfstream in the winter. Also, this horse is now in Dave Donk's barn, and I think that Dave is really going to move this filly forward. I think she's supposed to win today. I'm not trying to beat her.
I got Goofy. I got a little Goofy in here.
Okay. Quickly, and then we're going to move
This horse is
on.
going to run on turf for the first time with blinkers and Lasix. The debut was naked. Had the race on the dirt last time to knock the rust off, and that's it. I want to take a shot in here. I don't trust the rest of them. Your horse obviously makes a lot of sense. So can I book 6 to 1 on winning factor? Where can I get that? Who's going to give me 6 to 1 on winning factor? With the rider change to Jose Ortiz?
No, she's going to be 5 to 2, and she should be. That's just a dreadful morning line. David did not make the morning line today. No. Anyhow.
Who else? Anybody else in there? Well,
Bryce.
You see the numbers.
Bryce,
yeah. Bryce.
Head over to Naira Bets. We're running out of time, guys. Sorry about that. But we were just having so much fun together. And we sort of behaved.
We did.
I mean,
We got 2 lunch bets in.
I would say for me, I behaved
Fat Joe,
really
2
well.
lunch
For
bets were
you,
good.
you're your usual. I was a little better than normal, but I'm normally pretty bad. Anyway, 100% deposit match. Up to $200. Promo code is MATCH200. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, become a member of Naira Bets. Head on over to NairaBets.com.
Cross country.
Also, cross country pick 5. Once again, Thistledown race 8, post time 4:22. The Ohio Derby, the True North at Belmont, the Stephen Foster at Churchill Downs, the Grade 1 Just a Game, and then the Regret, which I think is a very, very interesting race in the last race. I like Harvey's Lil Goyle, though there are others that can win, particularly Graham Motion.
I use Past the Plate as well as Harvey's Lil Goyle. You scratch the 11 Soros and the 15 Celtic Striker out of the Ohio Derby.
Anyhow, the man, Johnny I, the voice of the New York Racing Association, up next with the scratches and changes.